Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Holly Randall Unfiltered. Today, I am joined by the unapologetic and unstoppable Brett Rossi. From runway model to adult star to tabloid fodder, Brett has built a career on reinvention and resilience. With her new show, Stripped, launching soon, she's opening up about success, survival, and staying powerful in and out of the industry. So let's get into it. Brett, welcome back.
Wow, what an intro.
Thank you. I wrote it
crazy.
myself.
That's crazy. I just got back from Exotica, so.
How was it?
Actually, it was really fun. It was my first convention that I've done since 2018.
Oh, wow.
Like first convention that I've that I signed at.
Yeah.
Because I stopped signing at conventions for a while.
Okay.
So.
Did you sign at your own booth or did you sign for a brand? Or?
Yeah, I was invited there by loyal fans. So
okay.
Yeah, so they sponsored me to go out there, and then I feature danced at Gold Rush.
Nice.
So that was crazy.
Yeah. You do a lot of feature dancing.
Yeah, I do. I do feature dance all around the country. I do shake my booty, and I love the costumes and the theatrics of it all. That's kind of like my thing.
Yeah.
So I never stopped featuring.
So how do you get your costumes? Like, do you get them designed yourself? Do you buy them? Do you get to reuse them? Or is it like a one and done kind of situation?
I have a lady in Canada that I discovered, and she custom makes all my costumes. So I just give her an idea. Like my most recent costume was a nun. And so, but it's all customizable, like every piece. There's 7 pieces, so there's a lot to take off. I have a flight attendant costume.
What song did you dance to as a nun?
There's this Rob Zombie song that it's
Please sing it. No, please. I'm sorry, we did not catch that.
No, so there's this Rob Zombie song. I come out with a candle, those Halloween bleeding candles with that and a Bible. And inside the Bible, this is terrible. I'm going to hell.
That's okay. We all are.
I cut a hole.
Including you who's watching the show.
I cut a hole for a shot glass. So then I open it and I take a shot. But yeah, so I have a bunch of different costumes. My favorite one right now, I kind of have favorites right now. My favorite is the flight attendant one. But they're all like little jackets, matching bra, panties, garters, bustiers. It's a whole thing.
Do you also shoot in them for your personal platform sites and stuff?
I mean, sometimes I do, but I get weird about it because they're so precious to me, these costumes. Believe it or not, I have to do a lot of repairs. I lost a lot of weight, so I had to get my garters taken in, and I'm not going to ship them to Canada and have her fix them because it's just going to take too long. So I took them to this guy down the street who's my cobbler. He's I don't know if anybody knows what a cobbler is, but
this is elves that live in the trees. And they make cookies, right?
So cobblers fix your cowboy boots.
Yeah. They're shoe repairmen.
Yeah, they're shoe repairmen.
Yeah.
But he also, his wife is a seamstress. And so I brought these, and he was he doesn't really speak English, but he's what are these? I'm just fix them. It's fine. Just take them in a little bit. But yeah, so featuring's I love it. I love it so much. I've been doing it for 16 years. So
what do you love the most about it?
I really love the traveling aspect of it. I like going to these hodunk towns. Sometimes it's a cool place like Miami, but other times it's you're in bumfuck Egypt. Oh, can I say that F word?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I went to this small town in Virginia, West Virginia. I didn't even know there was a West, or I didn't know there was different Virginia.
You didn't know there was a West Virginia? I've never even been to Virginia, and I knew that.
I had no idea, but this was a tiny town. The mall had carpet. I felt I was going back to 2007.
The mall had carpet?
The mall had carpet.
Where? Everywhere?
Throughout the mall.
The whole mall had
whole mall had carpet.
I don't recall there ever being a mall with carpet.
Yeah, it was pretty old school. There were some old stores. I'm trying to think of some of the old stores that were there, but there were some old stores that took me back in time.
What kind of customers do you get there?
Honestly, it's a mash, in a town like that, mostly the people that work in the mines. So they have money that they want to spend because they don't do anything fun. So, but I mean, I've had some I've had some interesting experiences. I've had people like think that they're going to marry me and come to my appearances and not listen to anything I'm saying. Like they were catfished and I think that they're...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like I had a guy come with like a ring and everything and it was really scary because he was like, no, we're getting married. I'm like, no, sir. And like I tried to explain to him and he's like, no, I talked to you. I'm like, no, I'm here physically telling you no. So
yeah, I mean, anyone who is in our industry
I'm
will
sure you
tell
get it
you
too.
they have tons of stories about that. And I get them all the time. And usually I'm just like, you're kind of like, you're an idiot. But I did have this one guy reach out to me. It was actually a friend of somebody. And he told me like he was an older gentleman and, you know, he believed that he was in this relationship with this woman who, I forget what she called herself, Michelle.
I know.
Something.
It's always some like random name. Like my name is not, do I look like I'm like a Jessica from Tennessee?
Yes.
I do. And that's what's so funny. It's like, because it's like you, like, you know, because of like my history, I mean, some of the girls are a lot luckier. They have that like ability to be anonymous.
Mm-hmm.
Still not so much
people,
now, but like, whereas with me, like, it's like, come on, dude, just Google Brett Rossi and like my whole life story comes up.
Just Google your pictures.
Or you can do those like cross.
Image Google search. But generally these people are not that tech savvy. You know what I mean? They're not.
I think that they choose, you know.
I think they choose
they choose to believe what they want to believe because I've had them straight up just like talk to me in person and totally ignore me saying
like that it's not
real.
Yeah.
They're like, no, it is. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So
I know I felt bad for this guy. So I never do this. I usually just go, yeah, that's not me. Sorry. Dude.
Yeah.
But for this guy's friend, I actually made a video and I was like, I don't know. I just like felt really bad. His friend was trying to help him. He'd given this woman all of his money. They've been texting for like a year.
It's usually the long-term ones too. And
thought,
you're like
they were getting married and he was like, and he said, I don't want to, you know, and then he was really upset when his friend confronted him about it and was like, this is not who she says she is. And he was like, this is my last chance at love. I wish I'd never told you about her. And I was just like, and I feel like even when, I don't even know what happened if he's shown him the video, but I feel like even if he does, and it's me literally saying like, I am not this person. Like, I'm so sorry. My name is Holly Randall. I'm married. I have a kid. Like I just, we're not in a relationship. That like, he's not going to want to hear it because it's just like, people are really lonely, you know?
I know. And I'm on that boat too. I'm like, I know. But I mean, but I'm on the opposite side of the spectrum of lonely. I'm like, no, don't talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like not out there looking.
You're not looking.
No.
So you're recently single, right?
Yeah, I am. And like, honestly, the thought of like even entertaining something, like I want no situationships, no fuck buddies, no like texting buddy, no like let's hang out. But I do not want anything like romantic or sexual or anything like that at all. Yeah, no, that's definitely not what I'm looking for. Right now I'm like money, career. That's it. Oh, and horses and my dog and my cat. But that's pretty much it. Like Holly was trying to like hook me up.
I have a friend.
Holly was like,
husband.
I have a friend. I'm
He's
like,
a
does he?
nice guy.
She's like, and he's got a great body. I'm like, but I like dad bods. And she's like, well, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe he'll eat more McDonald's.
He could get fat for you, I guess.
I don't want fat. I just like dad bods. Like I like daddies.
Yeah.
I don't care if I'm getting older. I like daddies.
I will say I don't like to date men that are significantly better looking than me because I find it to be like, I don't know. I think there's a selfishness in it, right? I want to be the better looking one in the relationship. Number one, I want to be the star. But number two, I also find like those guys to be, no offense to guys who are really good looking. I'm sure there's some wonderful ones of you out there.
Probably not, but yeah.
Like generally they, you know, they tend to rely on their good looks more than like their personality or their sense of humor. And because they have so many like women throwing themselves at them, and I think men are have a harder time resisting the charms of the opposite sex necessarily than women do. Like, it's just,
I get it. I just like
Sounds like an ick.
normal looking men.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want them too hot.
No.
I don't want them. And they have to be daddies, like 45 to 50. Like, that's my range. And that's been my range since I was like in my early 20s. And it's still my range. So I'm starting to catch up to them. So I don't know if like I'm going to have to start, maybe 60, 70. You know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to start grave robbing. It's fine. That's my ex.
At least they won't talk back to you.
They won't. It's fine. It's fine. So yeah. What are you going to do about that?
Oh my God. Okay. So you have been on the show before.
Yes.
It's been a hot minute.
Yes.
So besides becoming single, actually a lot has happened since you've been on the show.
Oh my God. So much.
Was that before you dated Charlie?
No.
It was after.
That was after.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So a lot has happened.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not going to ask you to like tell me everything that's happened because we'll be here forever.
I know, right?
But maybe like, what's the biggest difference between the Brett Rossi then and the Brett Rossi today?
I think the Brett Rossi then, she was still performing. I'm just going to talk about Brett Rossi in a third person. She was still performing.
That bitch. Oh my God. Now that she's not in the room,
now that
can we
Brett
talk
Rossi's
about
gone,
Brett
like,
Rossi?
fuck, she is such a whore. God. Oh, she's so rude. The difference is back then, obviously age difference. Like that was back when you very first started your podcast.
7 years ago.
So
actually, it'll be 8 years. Oh my God. Is it going to be 8 years like next month? Holy shit. It's going to be 8 years next month.
Okay. So I just turned 36. So I was still in my 20s then. No, the difference is I'm not performing professionally anymore. I just shoot for my own self. And I think the difference, honestly, is my brand has definitely evolved with me as I've evolved. I've noticed that, like, when it comes to like longevity, you get to a point in your career where you have to figure out how am I going to make this sustainable and have it continue to be profitable. Because I think a lot of like performers who are just starting out and they have the it girl luck or finances, I call it the it girl finances. And the it girl finances are they're hot, they're new, they're up and coming, so they're getting booked, they're making the money, and they're the hot new thing. But there gets to a point in your career where you're just there. And you have to constantly reinvent yourself and make your brand sustain the times of not only the economy, but you changing, the dynamic of the industry changing and all that. So I felt like for the longest time I struggled with like who's Brett Rossi and who's Scotty. And like, I felt like being Scotty, I wanted to be Scotty so bad, but I want to be Brett Rossi. And what was that face?
Masha walked in with Panda Express and I gave
what?
her
I want Panda.
I know. And I gave her
Wait, did you get the cream cheese wontons? Because those are like what makes it.
I just like the orange chicken because it's like so
I get
much
half
sugar.
rice and half chow mein. That has nothing to do with anything, but it's fine.
Sorry.
But anyways, before I was rudely interrupted by Panda Express. No, I'm just kidding. No, so for my whole career, I've always struggled with like my identity. And because I was with Charlie and I was like wrapped up in that whole thing, I kind of was doxxed. So I never got to have the freedom of like, oh, here I'm Brett Rossi and here I'm Scotty, whereas like it kind of just all mashed together. And so I went through like a full-blown identity crisis. Like from then till now, like I didn't know who I was or what the hell I was doing. I became a paramedic and then I got my license to do hair and then I was doing makeup and I was like, what am I doing? But then I realized I had to go back and center myself and realize I have been in the entertainment industry even before adult. Like I grew up in the entertainment industry. My grandma was a Pepsi Cola model. She worked with Lucille Ball and I was doing runway and commercials and catalog work. So I kept trying to run from, it was weird. It was like I kept trying to run from what I knew. And then finally one day I was like, okay, no, like this is who I am. It's not a character. Whereas a lot of people in the industry, both entertainment, mainstream, and adult, play like a character. where I realized, no, like this is really who I am. And once I accepted that this was my identity, it wasn't just like a career or something I do. It's my identity. It's all encompassing. I was able to sit with it and evolve with that, if that makes sense.
So what is your identity? Like, who is Brett Rossi?
You know what? Brett Rossi is very vulnerable. I'm very open with like my fan base. I share a lot, probably too much. My team's usually like, hey, delete that stuff. I'm like on TikTok crying. They're like, yo, girl, delete that. Your followers don't want that. They're not going to pay for that. But actually, guys jerk off to that, so I don't care. But no, I'm just very raw and real and authentic. And I think authenticity is the reason why I'm so lucky that my fan base has continued to, still support me since 2018 was the last time I did a mainstream adult movie, like a professionally produced. And I only do solo. So the fact that I still do really, really well and I'm very comfortable with just like, I had to kind of retrain my fan base because I have a lot of girls ask me like, oh, I don't want to do boy girl anymore or girl girl. I just want to do solo. But my fans, you have to train them. And it takes time because if your fans really do support you and really do love you and care about you, which they do, they'll adapt to it or they'll fall off. And the ones that fell off, well, fuck them. You didn't need them anyways. You know what I mean? So
and then you'll accumulate
you'll get new people.
Yeah.
And I honestly get a lot of fans from like random places like YouTube, like at Exotica. I mean, I only have, I think like 6,000, 8,000, somewhere around there subscribers. I don't have a lot. My YouTube is just like a passion project. I started vlogging years ago. Just 800 years ago, I was bored. I picked up a camera. I love editing. I love doing all that stuff. And I just started like filming me on horse rides, or this is me getting drunk in my kitchen, making a martini or whatever, or behind the scenes of a photo shoot. So I just started, or my feature trips. And people would come up to me all the time and they're like, I love your vlogs. And I'm like, you watch them?
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I just do them for me and I forget. But they're like, I became a fan of you because. And then I have a lot of fans of when me and Danny used to do Vine. Do you remember Vine?
Yes, I do remember Vine.
We were big on Vine.
You guys were big on Vine.
We were so big.
That was like the OG.
That was like the OG, like TikTok.
OG
like
Snap
it was like a wannabe. Yeah, like it was like a hybrid of like Snap and TikTok. It was like 5 seconds and it would just run in a loop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was OG.
Yeah. God, I forgot about that.
I have people that are like, yeah, I've been your fan since the Vine days. I'm like, fine.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So, but I think that that's like the biggest thing is, finding your identity and your brand at the same time, because you can't just, if you want longevity in this industry, you can't just play a character. Like you really have to figure it out. That's just my theory of it all.
Because I think after a while, it probably
gets exhausting.
Yeah, it gets exhausting and it's hard to keep up with something that you don't feel connected to.
Well, and then you find people get burnt out a lot.
Yeah.
And that's when burnout happens. And I was a victim of burnout, So I've also learned to pace myself. I've learned to say no, because I think you get, especially getting older in the industry, you want to just say yes, 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 because you don't know when those opportunities are going to come. But you know what? You make your own opportunities. So that's kind of where I'm at now.
Okay. So Brett, you mentioned that you wanted to talk about utilizing your brand and maximizing income. So what are the smartest business decisions you've made for yourself in or out of the industry?
The smartest business decisions that I've made in or out of the industry, well, period, is trademarking my name for sure. And making my own decisions and I've never, ever, ever, ever had anyone else make my decisions, whether it was an agent or a manager or a publicist or whatever. I am also very, very hands-on with my brand. Like we were talking about the podcast and all that stuff, and my YouTube videos and my photos, even down to my professional photos that get edited. Yes, they're sent out to a team that I have that edits them, but then they have to send them back to me and I edit them too. So I'm very hands-on and I'm kind of a control freak. I just kind of need that So I think, but business-wise, I think that it's smart. You have to, because I think that the biggest mistake is, especially the bigger your brand gets, you kind of, delegate tasks, which it's okay to delegate. It's okay to let go. But sometimes like with that delegation, you kind of throw that on the back burner and you forget to keep an eye on it. And that's why like these girls who get those agencies that run like their OFs are like, why is this happening? And it's like, because your team ran your brand to the ground because you weren't auditing what's being said in the messages, or you weren't, whatever. So I think just being like really hands-on is incredibly important and the smartest business decision that you can make.
It is definitely important to delegate because you can't grow unless you do, right? But you're right. You do have to keep your fingers in all the pies, as they say.
Like I said, I have like a team who like does the editing, and then I have an assistant. I have like people who help me, but I'm still very much like, hey, what's going on over here? But that is something that I do have to, I've always been that way though. I do have to learn to let go a little, and I do let go a little bit, but I still hang on pretty tight.
Yeah.
But that works for me. It doesn't work for everyone. You know what I mean?
So when you look back at the way you've evolved your public image, what is something that you're really proud of? And is there anything that you wish you'd done differently?
So my public image, and actually I didn't come to this realization until this past weekend, because I haven't done like a convention in so long. And like the last time I did something was for AVN. It was in 2024. I like hosted the red carpet and did all this stuff for Showtime, but I wasn't really interacting with my peers or fans more so. Like the interaction was very like calculated and like structured versus like on a casual level. So interacting with like my peers and fans on more of a casual level for like Exotica, for example, I realized that my public image is that I'm like, a lot of people are like, wow, you're really like, I've never heard a bad thing about you. You're really nice, like blah, blah, blah. Like you get along with everyone. All I've heard is you're very professional and blah, blah. And that to me is so important. And because I think I wished that back in the day, my image was kind of tarnished by the people that I was attached to. Like a lot of people have the misconception that like, because my ex did drugs, I did drugs, or...
We're talking about Charlie.
Yeah, because like I was associated with that person because that was that person's lifestyle. But what they don't understand is that that wasn't our lifestyle when we were together. Like we were monogamous. We didn't do that kind of stuff. My public image, the fact that like everyone knows that like I'm respectful, I'm nice, I'm professional, but also to my fans, I'm authentic, I'm genuine, and I'm real. And that to me is like a huge compliment, because I think so many people get like their image in their head and they kind of become full of themselves. And it's very easy when you have people kissing your ass 24/7 and you've got 10 million followers and they're like, praise God, I don't care if you're a bitch. You know what I mean? Like I've never been that way. And that's something that I've always really strived to be like that, but not just on a professional setting, but in like a real life personal setting. Like I've always tried to just be like a really good person. And I take it so personally. Like if someone doesn't like me, or like if there's drama with somebody, I'm like, oh my God, we have to fucking fix this. Like we don't got to be friends, but please, for the love of God, don't hate me. Because like that's just something that like I just take pride in the fact that I'm kind of Switzerland with everyone. And I don't know, maybe some people are like, well, that's, you have to pick a side. And it's like, no, I really don't.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you on that. I try to remain neutral and everything.
Yeah, I try to just be chill. And
sometimes I feel like that works against me a little bit. But I just don't, I really hate being involved in drama. And especially as I get older, it's something like, I don't have a lot of time in my life for things. And like, I don't choose to live my life in like a state of heightened anxiety.
And that is it, because I've been through so much and I've had so much trauma happen to me, and excluding my young childhood, I'm talking just the adulthood aspect of life. I've had a lot of unstableness, a lot of anxiety-ridden public things. Like, I mean, I had somebody in my own home film me having a mental health crisis, literally having like in a full-blown psychosis, and sold it to a tabloid. And I'm like screaming and burning things and lighting fires in my backyard. And like next thing you know, it's like on a tabloid. And I think that really alters your brain chemistry, experiencing something like that, because, you know, it really makes you just appreciate like stillness and having things be calm in life. That when there's like animosity towards somebody or just something, like I can legitimately say like I don't have any enemies. I don't like have drama with anyone. Like I don't dislike anyone. I mean, there's people where I'm like, I probably wouldn't spend my time with them.
You don't have any contact with Charlie at all
I don't.
anymore?
Actually, somebody asked me if I did. I don't.
I assumed that you didn't, but
No, I don't. We don't talk. But last I heard, he was like living in Malibu, and sadly, he's living the life that like I always wanted him to live with me. But I'm glad that like he's found his peace and his sobriety and all that stuff, because like he really needed that. But I guess he's living like a normal life in Malibu. He's sober, he's clean. I guess he's like raising the boys. So he's living. It was so funny when we were together. All I wanted was for him to like drive us somewhere. I know that sounds crazy, but I just wanted to drive to like Target. Like that's all I wanted to do.
like
was,
a norm to do
just,
a normal thing.
Yeah,
with
to
him.
just like me and him go to Target, get in the car, drive. No security, but that like we couldn't, especially back then. He was at like, you know, like his peak, like he was just getting off of like,
wasn't that Tiger Blood days?
Yeah, he was just getting off of that, and he was still filming like anger management. So he was still very much in the public eye. So we never got the ability to have like a normal life. Like we would go to like, I remember we were at a restaurant one time and we sat down and somebody like came over and was like, Charlie. And I would get, you know, I coming from somebody who has a fan base herself, nothing compared to like, that was like, you know, monstrous. But I tried to be understanding, but at the same time, I'd be like, do you have to yell his name? Because now the whole restaurant knows he's here. And now guess what? Now our dinner is hit like a line of people coming over and asking
for autographs
and photos and pictures. And so that was very hard, because a lot of people are like, oh, you knew what you were getting into when you got with Charlie. And it's like, I didn't. He was not my era. Like when it comes to like celebrities, I just was attracted to this like older hot guy that I knew he was an actor, but I didn't, and I knew he was a celebrity, but I didn't know, honestly, I didn't know the caliber of like how big of a celebrity he was until we went to Spain. We went to Spain and we saw the running of the bulls, because I had always wanted to see that. And we went to Spain, saw the running of the bulls, and somebody tipped off the hotel. Somebody at the hotel tipped off that we were there. And I remember we were walking from our hotel to our car, and there was the biggest mob of people I've ever seen, like people climbing on our car, like banging on it was so traumatic. I was so scared, but that was when I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna, like, and we were engaged then, and I was like, oh my God, like I'm getting married to this person. Like this is our life. Like,
how did he handle situations like that?
He was really great with his fans. Like I will say that about him. Like he was so, and we used to argue about it because he was so great that I think sometimes he would kind of ignore boundaries. Like, okay, yeah, I'd love to take a picture with you, but can me and my fiance finish our dinner first and then we can take
on the
picture.
way out, we can take a picture.
Like I wished that he would have had more boundaries. And that was something that we had a lot of disagreements about, because it wasn't that I didn't want him. And his fans were like fans of mine too. And they'd be like, wait, no, I want a picture of you. And I'm like, who, me? Like, why? Like, who am I? Like, compared to like this, you know, Hollywood royalty comes from like a family of royalty.
Yeah.
So, but that was very, very, very hard. And that really changed the trajectory of my life, because my life was never the same after that. I mean, when we broke up, like, paparazzi were like sitting in front of my house, like taking pictures of me leaving Starbucks. And I was only 25 years old and I'm going through a breakup of not just a boyfriend, but my fiance. And we broke up 3 weeks before our wedding. And this is very public.
Yeah.
And this is not just public, like, oh, all our friends know, but like the whole world, like TMZ, Fox News, E! News, people are waiting out front of my door. Hey, how do you feel about this? And it's like, well, how do you think I feel? Like, how do you think I feel? You know?
Yeah.
And then all of your dirty laundry gets aired out. And we had a mole in our house and somebody kept leaking stories to the press that were awful about me. And like, oh, she's a bridezilla or she's this or she's getting so-and-so fired. And I wasn't like that at all. I didn't even want a wedding. He wanted the wedding. I was like embarrassed. And we had this like huge engagement party that you went to.
Yes, I remember. I think I still have the bib from that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
We had this huge engagement party, but I was actually, I don't know if you remember, but I was like very shy at it because I was going to be like, I don't know, his third or fourth wife. And to me, that was like, oh my God. In my mind, I was like, I got 3 strikes against me. 1, I'm a porn star. 2, oh God, it's his third or fourth wedding.
Yeah.
And 3, I was young. So, but a lot of people don't realize that I'm like a very old soul. And to circle back to what he's doing now, or what I've been told, is that I always fought for his sobriety. And I used to talk to you about that all the time.
Yeah.
I always fought for Charlie's sobriety. And so hearing that he's living that life now and he's living a much more quieter lifestyle, like that makes me happy, even if I couldn't share that with him, you know? So, I mean,
that's one hell of a thing to have to live through. I mean, I can't even imagine.
I mean, and it's not like I just dated a reality star. Like this was like Hollywood royalty. Like, I mean, shit, up next, I should like hit up Sean Penn or something. Just kidding.
Even Sean Penn's like washed up.
Actually, I met Sean. Did I tell you the Sean story?
I don't think so.
Oh my God. I cooked Sean eggs for breakfast one day. Sean was the coolest guy ever. He came over, and Sean, you would think, oh my God, this is Sean Penn, right? He came to our house. I don't know why he came over, but he came over and it was like breakfast time and I cannot cook for shit. But I was like, well, I gotta be like the wife and do something. So I was like, I'll make eggs. And I had like one of those waffle little mini stick makers. So I made like scrambled eggs and these waffle things. Sean rolls up. You would think he'd roll up in like this badass car. He rolls up in this like hoopty, run down, fucked up truck, pulls in front of our house. He walks in, he like smells like a carton of cigarettes. He's wearing clothes from probably 1992. And he eats my breakfast and he's like, this is amazing. And I'm like, you, sir, are a good liar. But thank you very much I know that my food is disgusting. So thank you. But yeah, but that was like my life. Like, oh yeah, Sean's coming over. I'm like, oh, okay. Like thinking like it's Sean, like some guy named Sean. And then Sean Penn walks in and you're like, hello. Like, I just made breakfast for Sean Penn. Like, you know, we would just like the life, like Paris Hilton was our neighbor and we would go to dinner with Larry King and like, just, there was just so many surreal moments that like, I look back and I'm like, oh my God, like it definitely alters your brain chemistry because like, I've also seen things that people would be like, oh, that's only in movies. I'm like, no.
Is a part of you glad that you didn't end up like marrying him and getting sucked into that whole lifestyle? Because I feel like you're right. Like you get sucked in that kind of celebrity, especially that level. And I feel like it has to change you on some level. I mean, how can you ever be the same again? Because people will never treat you the same way. Like you're not surrounded by people who are real. You don't live in the same world. It did change. It changed me even in that short time. And not changed me like, oh, I thought I was better than people. It changed me because I lost trust for people. Yeah. I think before them, I was so naive. But if I would have been with any celebrity, I think the safest person, ironically, to have been with, to have stayed centered would have been him. And the reason being is because he was a firm believer of, if you don't read it, it doesn't exist. He didn't fall into the
fodder of like that lifestyle. I mean, I wore Target clothes. Like I shopped at, Ralph's when we needed, like I was very still grounded. Like I picked up the dog poop. Like it, whereas, other people at his level are kind of not centered and not grounded. I think that's a lot that's attributed a lot because of his mother and his father, because they still live in the same house in Malibu that they've lived in since like the 70s. His mom still goes to, the farmer's market. Like they were very normal people. You walk in their houses, like it looks like it's still decorated in the 80s and there's like religious crosses everywhere and they're just very normal. So I think that the normalcy, like if I would have been in that lifestyle, that would have been the safest area for me to be in or person to be with. I know that sounds insane.
Yeah.
But I'm talking grounded wise because there's so many, we would meet people and I'm like, why are they like that? And he'd be like,
So like if it wasn't for the drugs, he might have.
Yeah, no, honestly, like Charlie was an incredible partner whenever he was sober and clean. He really was. And he's a really good person, like outside of that. So it actually, when we talk about like how it changed me, I think it definitely taught me to see that because I had never experienced like addiction or anything like that it showed me a different side of like, yeah, that person can be a totally different person. And it was really hard to grapple with like understanding how a good person could be a terrible person at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, it really changes you. And I think that that's something that makes joining, a community or a program like AA or any other kind of program where you can meet other people who are struggling with the same thing as you, because to explain addiction to someone who doesn't have it is pretty much impossible, because it is also like, it doesn't make sense. Like,
right.
I, am like a recovering alcoholic. By the way, I'll have 7 years on Sunday.
Yeah. Lucky number 7.
So that was and I hit 7 years the first time and then I relapsed. So like, I'm going to make it to 8.
Yeah.
So this is like my point where I'm like, okay, I'm going to make it one more year past it. Also, I relapsed on accident because I ate an edible on a Twisties shoot, which is a whole other
Why was there an edible on a
Twisties? Because we were in Costa Rica.
Wait, was this like, my God, did you should, one of these days we'll have to talk about the Twisties contract star days.
Oh my God.
When we went on trips,
yeah.
Me, Emily, and Taylor. But yeah, that was... But yes, to answer your question, it did change me and it would have changed me. But I think that if there was anyone I would have been sheltered is, I think, the appropriate term.
Yeah.
Ironically, people are like, how can you be with Charlie Sheen and that be the safest place to be? But they just don't understand what I'm trying to say, if that's their thought process after everything I just said.
Yeah, I get it.
Like
I mean, look,
everything I just said. And I'm not, and this is actually interesting that we're talking about this because like, me, like I don't really talk about it. I don't really open up. Like a lot of people, like my last partner, he was probably the first person that and before him, I was with somebody for 8 years. So I think that my last partner was probably the last person I ever truly like opened up to about that. And this is probably the most I've talked about it in a really long time, or actually ever. So there you go.
There you go.
There you go.
See, we told TikTok that we were going to spell it all, and then we were right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to more about you.
Yeah.
So reinvention obviously is a huge theme in your life. Was there ever a moment when you felt like you had to completely start over? And I'm feeling like maybe was it after your breakup with Charlie?
Yeah. After my breakup with Charlie, I had to totally reinvent myself because I thought that I was going to be I thought I was going to be a wife. I thought I was going to be a mom. I thought that Brett Rossi was kind of done and over with. And that's not to say that like I had any ill feelings towards the industry. It was just that I was marrying essentially into royalty, like I was basically getting the dream that everyone thought, and my reality crumbled in front of me, and I was only 25. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to go back into the industry. And not only that, but there were circumstances that like I'm not going to delve deep into, but all you have to do is Google that the industry would accept me back because of like his health situation.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I had the scarlet letter. Ironically, the industry talks about like, oh yeah, when you join, you get the scarlet letter and the society won't. Well, we're all accepting. Well, guess what? The industry was not nice to me. When me and Charlie split and the news came out that he had HIV, a lot of people in the industry talked a lot about me behind my back, saying that I had HIV and I was this and I was that. And oh, why would you work with her? And it took tests. I would have people who like I hooked up with like ask me like, oh, you don't have HIV, do you? And it's like, don't you get tested? Like I get tested. Like I was just on a set. Like, and so I had a lot of insecurity issues, and it wasn't with my looks ever or with my performance or my professionalism. It was more so like, oh my God, if my scene partner finds out that like my ex has HIV, are they going to still want to work with me even though I have a clean test? Like I tested and I was under a doctor's care when we were together. And so I do not have HIV, thank God. But it was the way people were so cold and callous towards me about it. And the way they would ask me, I'm like, that's like so rude. Like who just like walks up to you and just like, you know, and it's, look, in our industry, you have to ask these questions, but there's a way to ask them. And like, if you're performing with me, you have every right to ask me, but Joe Schmo on the corner who heard doesn't have the right to ask me that. And for years, and I still sometimes get comments like, oh, you HIV whore. And I get those comments still to this day. And a lot of actually just people, someone at Exotica came up to me I don't say fam because that was not appropriate how he approached me, but he asked me if I had HIV, like just flat out like asked me. And so that reinvention of being associated.
The ignorance that people have about HIV and like the progression of drugs and treatment and how we handle HIV these days is like astounding, even within the adult industry.
Well, a fun fact that a lot of people don't know is that I was one of the first people to actually take PrEP before it was PrEP.
Oh, interesting.
So back then, which was like 10 years ago, there was 3 pills. There was a blue, a white, and a red pill that they would take. When I found out the situation that I found out, I was going to marry this person. So I was like, well, I'm already balls to the wall. So, but we obviously took precautionary measures. So we were like, well, what can we do? And one of the doctors was like, you can take 1 pill and it's kind of like a PrEP. It's not FDA approved yet as a preventative,
Can you explain to people who may not, because some people may not know what PrEP is?
Okay, so PrEP is basically, and now it may be different than when I started taking it, but PrEP is a pill that you take that helps prevent contracting HIV, the virus, should you be exposed to the virus. Because how it works, and I don't know a lot about HIV and the medications that are out there now, but back then, and I'm sure that's how it is now, you have to take your dose every day. You have to be religious about your medication because if you're not, then your viral load will raise. And if your viral load is raised, that is when you are more contagious. Whereas if your levels are, say, 0, the chances of you contracting HIV are very, 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 very low, almost impossible. Which is why people like Magic Johnson would be able to test and they would be like, oh, Magic Johnson doesn't have it anymore. No, he still has. I mean, I don't know. Now he probably doesn't. Now they probably have medication out there, but I used to be such a huge advocate and be so involved with it because I experienced it. But now I'm not so much educated, but just based off of what my previous education from it was that's what prep is. And now I'm under the impression that performers actively take prep. It's very popular in the gay performer pool.
And then some female performers take it now too.
Yeah. If you're having unprotected, wild, interactions with people that you may not know, or they may not know, because a lot of the times it's not like someone's going out there being an asshole and just, it's a lot of the times they don't know that they have it, which is crazy to me because when you first get sick, you get very, very, very ill. From what he had described to me, it was the worst flu you had ever experienced in your life. So you felt like you were literally dying. So I was taking prep. So when I came out, I did have to reinvent myself because my name was like, great, I'm a crackhead, I've got HIV, so it wasn't cool to be associated with like the celebrity that I was associated with because unfortunately he was going through a hard time, so his hard time, I was tethered to that. So I had to reinvent myself, and a lot of it was just like, a lot of therapy, a lot of just like accepting that this is what it is and that hopefully one day it'll go away. And I mean, I'm thankful that, I don't get it as often anymore, but I still do get it sometimes. And it makes me sad because it's like, it makes me sad because that was somebody I loved, So it's like, I think when people come up to me, they just think it was just I was just some hired escort, which
gold digger.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure you got all that stuff.
Yeah. But that was not the narrative at all. That or the reality of it, that was not it. But the narrative was that I was this person. And so I think reinventing yourself from that is very, very, very hard, both professionally, but personally. I went through a lot of, I had a lot of mental health issues, and I had a lot of, sadly, I had a suicide attempt and I almost died, and that changed my life forever. So I think that, reinvention is so important, but being resilient is even more important.
Yeah. What do you think is like the greatest life lesson that you took away from that whole experience?
The greatest life lesson that I took away would have been nothing lasts forever. So when they say pain is only temporary, it is. Whether it's mental or physical pain, like it will eventually pass. It will eventually pass. You just have to hang on, like you really do. And now I've gone through a recent situation where I kind of experienced like that darkness that I hadn't visited in a very long time. And so I think that that's kind of what has helped me, is just to, recall that like it's only temporary and life is ever evolving. Like, holy shit, that was my life. And then this was my life. And it's like, I've had so many different lives in one lifetime that I'm like, well, I can't be like, shit, what's next? You know what I mean? So I think that that's really important, is just to learn to be resilient.
How do you personally define success today versus when you first started in the industry?
Oh my gosh. So when I first started in the industry, success was just like money. Money, and paying off my credit card debt, because like I had been living on my own since I was 17. So like I racked up the debt, So when I finally was debt free, and then when I experienced having everything and then having nothing, like the definition of success definitely changed to me. I think success is more longevity. It doesn't have to be up here all the time. Like you can be here. You don't have to be here and you don't have to be here. Like you can be here and be okay. And that, I think, accepting that and learning that like you don't have to be the best of the best. I mean, look, if you're not first, you're last, but just saying. But I'm just saying, but like, like you don't have to constantly try to like be better. Like, oh, that person has 10 million followers. Like, what are they doing that's better than me? You can strive for that, but like, dude, you still have like 1 million followers, or you still have 2 million or 10 million or whatever, So just being consistent is success.
Yeah.
Consistency.
So now you're starting your own podcast.
Yeah.
Called Stripped. So what made you want to launch a podcast? Why now? And what is this one about?
Okay, so I'm a talker, obviously, if you guys haven't noticed. So Stripped is basically, it is ironically not adult focused. It's the entire entertainment industry. I'm escorts, dominatrix, strippers, showgirls, features, directors, producers. I have friends that are paparazzi that are going to be on, actors, comics. I have a friend who he's a doctor to the stars. Like anyone who is associated with the entertainment industry. And Stripped is basically about showing your vulnerability and discussing what it took to get to where you are today. And just kind of like stripping you raw. And my guests that are going to be on are going to, tell stories about like, I don't know, something like I'm not going to give too much away, but there's this one girl who was on that I interviewed, and she talked about how this dude died that she was dancing at a club with. Like just crazy stuff. But like the story is funny. Like it's not funny that the dude died, but like just really encompassing being vulnerable. And I think that I just wanted to create a space where people could be vulnerable and talk about like what they went through to get there. Like, I mean, not everyone had unicorns and rain. Like I was lucky. I've pretty much had a pretty cush career. Like growing up, I didn't really have anything like terrible happen to me where like I wasn't like an orphan or something like that. But like there are people who really had to go through the trenches to get to where they are today. And so it's going to be funny. It's going to be real. It's going to be sad. It's going to be raw. And so I'm really excited. And I just wanted another passion project. I'm all about passion projects. So I was like, you know what? I'm a talker. This looks great. And so we're gonna have local guests, and then we're also gonna have guests that, obviously can't make it, so they'll be zoomed in. And so it's gonna be exciting, and I hope that people tune in and give a shit.
Is it going to be audio, video, both?
Yes, it's going to be both. But my primary focus is definitely going to be audio. The visuals, I'm going to use them for social media,
right.
visuals.
Yeah, you got to get like the reels and the TikToks.
And the TikToks. And so I'll probably be like calling you for advice and stuff. I'm open to advice for anyone. I know, right? I keep asking everyone that I know that have like a podcast. I'm like, I know, don't roll your eyes at me. When I said that I wanted to do a podcast, I was like, oh my God, so many people are going to roll their eyes at me. But it was actually something that like my ex and I had come up with. Like he had owned a club, and he has features every weekend, and his club is like the biggest for feature entertainers, and he has a great club, and he's a great guy and I'm a great gal. So like, why not create this podcast? So we were going to do this podcast together. But when we split, I was like, you know what? I need a project. And so I was like, this is what I'm going to do. Like, I don't have enough on my plate, but I was like, I want to do this. So, and we were going to call it Stripped because, strippers and getting stripped and
yeah. I mean, I am obviously not rolling my eyes. I think that it's funny because when I got into it, like we were just, God, it was 8 years ago. So crazy. I thought that like, I was like too late then at that point.
Yeah.
I was like, people are doing this, but I don't know, is it too late? But obviously it was like a great, thing to get into, but it's still growing immensely.
I did a lot of research and like a lot of people quit within the first like couple months. So I'm like, okay, cool. So as long as I don't quit,
the bar is pretty low. So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's not hard to like get past that. And you already have obviously a following. I mean, you're way ahead of everybody in so many ways because you already have a following. You have a lot of like media experience, right? So you know how to talk on camera.
Yeah.
You have the connections. You have the interesting people that you can bring on. You have, people that you can consult with about getting it up and you understand like filming and like,
right.
So there's so many things that you have that is going to make this so much easier for
but
you.
It is still scary, like, because I am so hands-on. I'm like, no, I want to figure it like me and Mike Adams got in like an argument on the phone the other day because he's like, I just don't understand. I'm like, just fucking tell me if this is the correct mixer that I need, you know? And he's like, well, I don't understand why you can't. I'm like, you're not answering my question. And he's like, well, I don't know. Like, I haven't fucking directed in like 3 years. I'm like, dude. So then I called Quasar and I was like, can you just help me? Like, just all I want to know is this the fucking appropriate mixer? Like, is it too much or is it enough or is it what? And Quasar was like, I got you, girl. So he like, gave me some.
I think we the Black Magic ATM one, right? Yeah, that's what we use.
I'm like, dude, I have this mixer and I'm like, I don't even fucking know how to use it. So I'm like, I'm just going to figure it out. But I mean, whatever.
But I think it's also like for somebody who's already got an established brand, even if like the podcast itself doesn't make money in itself, and it's not easy to make money with a podcast.
Yeah, I'm not doing it to make money. That's the crazy thing.
And even so, like my podcast can't really support itself on its own. Like
that's why you have the Patreon and the this and the that.
But even that, like I couldn't, if I didn't have everything else in my life, like I could not live on this alone. Like this would not support me. But it has enabled me to do so many other projects and has brought me other opportunities and has funneled. It's a great traffic funnel.
Yeah, and that's what places, I'm always.
And you have those other places that you can monetize. So it totally makes sense for you.
That's what I'm always like. I have an OFTV channel, and like I'm always thinking of. My brain is always traffic.
Yeah.
Like even if it like my YouTube, even if it doesn't make me money, like. I'm still getting traffic from it. Like my TikToks, like they don't make me money. Like I could easily start talking about the industry or whatever, but I'm very, with my brand, I'm very careful with how I craft it because I do want it to be accepted in the mainstream world. So I'm very, very careful with how much, Brett Rossi encompasses adult still. Which I don't look down at adult. Adult is the reason why I am where I am today. And it pays my bills like, hello, OnlyFans. But I have been lucky that I have so many different projects that aren't just in that realm. And I think that that's because you just have to be really careful. You just have to be crafty with it. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just a passion project. And if it does really well, cool. Like if I'm the next Call Her Daddy, like, like we could all wish, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Barstool, want to give me like I'd be happy with even like a $50,000 contract. I'll take a $50,000 contract. Shit, that's like, I
mean, I'm a big believer at throwing spaghetti at a wall and seeing what sticks.
That's what I do. Yeah. With everything in my life, I'm like, just throw it. And I recently went through this like revelation where like my whole career, this is going to sound so terrible, but I'm just very lucky. I've only really ever given kind of like 50%. The rest I've kind of just like been lucky and coasted and gotten these opportunities handed to me. And when I say handed to me, yes, they were handed to me. I was just right place, right time, right contract, right connection or whatever. But now I'm in this era where I'm like 100%. Like I am pushing myself 100%. And I'm like, well, if I got that lucky with 50%, like, damn, what's going to happen when I actually give a shit?
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, that's kind of just like my thing. But I wanted to give everyone, like I have a friend who he's a director. He does horror movies, and like I want to give everyone a platform where they can like be vulnerable. And just because you're vulnerable doesn't mean it has to be like so deep. Like you can be vulnerable and funny as fuck. You know what I mean? So it's just going to be like a good place for people to just like safely talk about whatever. If they were like on the street shooting up heroin and then now they're like the biggest star in the world on Pornhub, you never know. Yeah. I mean, don't Google like biggest star and then think that like I'm saying she does heroin. Like, I don't even know. I just thought about that. I'm like, great. Someone's going to be like, who is number one Pornhub? Oh, she was doing heroin. I'm like,
it's going to be Angela White. And I can tell you right now, she does not do heroin.
No, Angela. Oh my gosh. I remember when I met Angela.
No one like further away from like heroin than Angela White.
Angela still lived in Australia when I met her. She is so great. We were on tour with, it was when I was contracted with Twisties. We were on, me, Phoenix Marie, and a couple couple others were on tour with Steel Panther.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I was fucking one of the stupid bass. I was fucking the bass guy, Lexi or whatever, the one with the mirror.
I don't know.
That guy had
you
like
act
a,
like I know
dude, that guy had
anything
a
about
huge,
Steel Panther.
huge
Mirror?
cock.
Huge mirror?
Huge mirror. Yeah, but anyways, that's how I met Angela. And that was great times. Yeah. She was just this cute little, so.
And look at her now.
Look at her now.
Look at her
Superstar.
now. All right. Well, where can people find Stripped and when are you launching it? Do you have a launch date yet?
I don't have a launch date because it got kind of pushed back because I'm a control freak and things weren't, but it's going to be this month.
Mm-hmm.
But right now you can find it at thestrippedpod.com. And then you can find it, The Stripped Pod, on Instagram. But the best place will be going to brettrossi.com. And that's where you'll be able to find all my official socials, which that will be there as well.
Well, I'm so excited for you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Sorry I talked your ear off.
No, I mean, this is a podcast. That's what you're supposed
Holly
to
had
do.
like all these questions. I'm like, she's not going to fucking answer whatever. It's fine.
They're just here for reference, just in case. I do have a bunch of Patreon questions for you, though, which we will be asking in a separate segment. So if you're a Patreon member, you will have access to that bonus Q&A. But if you're not, what are you waiting for? Go to patreon.com/Holly Randall Unfiltered for access to this and the uncensored versions of my interviews, plus so much other bonus content. And of course, you can always find me on Instagram and on Twitter at Holly Randall. And of course, go to hollylinks.com for access to all of my platforms. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and I will see you next week.